good, YouTube? Welcome back to another channel. I uploaded one. It probably uploading about time you see this video or upload it. But yeah, that was about my Michigan State, U of M, MSU tunnel incident. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another sports video. I know I've been not putting out videos for this college football, and it's been weird. Well, it's not been weird, just been doing a lot of working, So, yeah, I'm going to try to push out these videos, things like that. We got to grow this channel, man. We got to grow this channel so we could become the best sports channel on YouTube. You feel me? This video, I've been waiting to make a video like this. This video is basically how I feel about the college football playoff format, how I feel about how teams are compared, how they make the rankings, how they put the rankings out, how they, basically justify who gets in and who gets out, strength of schedule, strength of record. Yeah, I want to talk about all that. You want another video like this? Like, comment, subscribe. Go into the description down below, comment. I want to see all you guys' comments on what y'all think so far. But anyway, yeah. Again, ignore this. Say that from the last video. But yeah. Let's begin. Okay. I just want to get out the way is that I can't wait until it's 12 teams. This college football format is so inconsistent. It's so picking favoritism. It's not like it used to be when it first came out. When it first came out, the criteria was this. You have to be a conference champion. Meaning, if you're in the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, or the ACC, if you are a champion of those, then you can get into the college football playoff. But there's a catch to it. Because in the Big 12, it's kind of hard for them to get in because they don't have a division and they play everybody. So for the Big 12, it's kind of like no margin for error. There can be a Big 12, champion that's like 9-3. But if you got 3 losses, you can't get in. You either have to have 12 or 11 wins. That was the criteria. A 1-loss team could get in. No-loss team could get in. It hasn't been a 2-loss team yet until about to bring it up. Okay. So, like I said, conference championship, no margin for error. You either got to be 1 loss or no loss. That was the criteria. It goes by your strength of schedule of who you played. If you played a great strength of schedule, even if you didn't, but let's say if you're number 4, you beat the number 19 team, you also beat the number 12 team, and you beat the number 10 team. Depends on how those teams do by the end of the season. It can help your resume. It can help it. It can help that because if they continue to win out and they grow higher in the rankings, if none of your opponents play each other, it can help your case to go to the college football playoff. That's what it's supposed to do. But now, as the years then went on, a lot of favoritism didn't happen. You now see Alabama Even though Alabama is Alabama, but you now see the committee basically try to help Alabama and SEC schools. And why I say that? Because this year, Tennessee has been a hot ticket for most of the season. Tennessee is the number 5 team in the nation now after losing to Georgia. They got not dismantled, but they got shown that they're not on the same turf as Georgia. Georgia only scored 3 points in the second half, but they held Tennessee to also 7 points. So it was 13-27. Georgia wins. By the score, you'll say that's close. But if you really look at that game, Georgia had it in the bag. They led 24-6, at the half. They could have scored more points, but Tennessee, you know, cadence to their defense, their defense did their thing. They held on to 3 points. They offense just couldn't score on Georgia's defense. But I'm saying all this because Tennessee has been a hot ticket. They beat Alabama for the first time in 16 years. So everybody is now on them, a bandwagon, to make the college football playoff. Another thing I don't like is the SEC can get 2, maybe 3 teams into the college football playoffs, but no other team can. No other conference can. They're trying to make a case that either Michigan and Ohio State could be the first 2 Big Ten teams to be in there, but they are saying it's kind of impossible because if Michigan loses, even if they lose a close game, they're out of the playoffs because of their non-conference schedule, which I find stupid. Yes, it's non-conference, but as long as you're winning, it depends on how are you winning. It doesn't matter about non-conference or how hard was your schedule. If you are dominating teams as you should, I don't care about non-conference. They're trying to put non-conference into us, and I hate it because Ohio State also has played a poor, schedule, but because Notre Dame is now in the top 20, is building Ohio State case, and they do a lot of building cases for teams. So let me go back to Tennessee. They're basically building a case for Tennessee to be in. They don't have to be a conference champion. SEC teams, they don't have to be conference champions to be in the college football playoff. They could just be in because they're in the SEC. But they're building a case for Tennessee, and this is why. They beat Alabama. Alabama fell to number 6. And they built the case for Alabama too, but they failed miserably. They built in a case because their best wins, Tennessee, was against a number 9 Alabama. They're number 9 now. Against a number 19 Kentucky. 24 Kentucky. Kentucky made its way back in the rankings. This is why I say it's SEC bias. Kentucky fell out the rankings because they lost 44-6 to Tennessee. They fell out the rankings. But because they beat a Missouri team, a Missouri team who shouldn't even be in the conversation as a great team or any team, but because they beat Missouri by 4 points, it was 21-17, they found the word back into the rankings. How is that? Because I guarantee you, if that was Michigan winning 21-17 to Rutgers, we wouldn't be in the college football. We wouldn't be in the rankings. If we got blew out the week before and beat a Rutgers team only by 4 points, we won't be in the rankings. That's why I say it's SEC bias, and it's to help other SEC teams. Get this. In the first college football playoff rankings, LSU, who was a 2-loss overrated team, found themselves at number 10. 6-2. Found themselves at number 10 because they beat a overrated Ole Miss team who was number 11 and still is number 11. Can you please tell me How does LSU jump 7 spots to be number 10? FCC bias. This is why they're building the case. Because no matter if Tennessee loses to Georgia or not and don't even play the conference championship, their case is because they beat a number 9 Alabama. They beat a number 24 Kentucky, which is why Kentucky is back in there, because that's 3 ranked opponents now. And now they have beat a number 10, which is now number 7 now, because they just beat Alabama. So it's building their case. We beat 2 top 10 teams, which is Alabama and LSU, and we also beat a Kentucky team who's ranked. This is how they try to build their case for Alabama, though, which it failed. So it's basically helping out Tennessee now. Because they already know they already knew a big showdown with Alabama was coming up. They already knew LSU and Alabama was about to throw down. So they did something slick. During the college football playoff, they said, you know what, we're going to make LSU number 10. So it will be a top 10 matchup. Alabama number 6, LSU number 10. And if Alabama was to win that, it will build their case even more to put them in the playoffs. But they failed because Alabama lost. So now, bring it back to the 2-loss team. No 2-loss team has ever been in the college football playoff. Now, LSU can make that jump into the top 4 if they beat Georgia in the SEC game, SEC championship. If LSU doesn't choke a game. If LSU chokes another game, then Alabama is in there. But this is now building a case for LSU because look at it. They beat number 9 Alabama and they put Florida State back in the rankings because they beat a weak Miami team. They're building a case for LSU. And they didn't beat Florida State. They lost to Florida State by 4 points. But that will go down as one of their best losses. No, this would help them out because they go by best losses too. Best losses mean that if you have a team that's great and they beat you, that makes your case also because that counts as a best loss. So for LSU, their best loss is against Florida State and Tennessee. Tennessee is the number 5 team in the nation. So that's building their case. Florida State is number 22, I want to say. Hey, you lost to them. But at the same time, that should hurt their loss because you're number 7 and they're number 22. They have 1 more loss than you. You have 2 losses. Now it's building the case for LSU if they was to run the table to be the only 2-loss team. So this is how it could be. If Tennessee runs the table, they could be in. If Georgia loses to LSU in the championship game, they could be in because that's their only loss. If LSU runs the table and beat Georgia, they're in. So you could possibly see Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee in one of the 3 spots in the college football playoffs. That's 3 SEC teams. See where I'm going with this? If Tennessee wins out and wins in dominant fashion, they're in. If Georgia wins out but loses to LSU, let's say it's a close game, they're still in. If LSU beats Georgia, they're in. So that's Georgia at number 1. That's LSU possibly at number 2. And we're going to say that's Tennessee at number 4. So that leaves the winner between Ohio State and Michigan. So you could potentially see 3 SEC schools in the top 4, which is unheard of. That's why it's SEC bias. That's why I don't like the format now because they go by, okay, your best loss and then they go by conference. And they really don't know anything about football. You know, one of the committees, what's his name? Boo Kerrigan. He said, well, this is why Ohio. No, at first he was like, why is Alabama number 4? Why is Alabama number 1? Number 2? Well, if you look at the wins and close wins with Alabama, that's why you're in. And if you look at the wins with TCU, that's why they're in. That's why they're ranked the way they were ranked. So you're basically just saying because they're Alabama, that's why they're number 2. No matter if they had close wins against Texas with 3 losses, against Texas A&M, who is trash, and against some other school that I don't care about. And somebody asks, so why is Ohio State ahead of Michigan at number 2 if Michigan has been playing dominant and OSU struggled against a 1-7 Northwestern team? He said, well, look at their body of work. You know, they played against Notre Dame. Fair enough. But they also have, you know, top 10 scoring and defense and offense. And it's just like, you don't base a team off of that. That was not the criteria. You don't base a team because they are top 5 or top 10 in offense and defense. You don't base that. If that's the case, Illinois should be number 1. Illinois have the best defense in college football. They are giving up only 10 points per game. Probably 11 now because they gave up 26 to MSU. They're the number 1 ranked defense in the FBS. So they should be number 1. When people say stuff like that, they don't know nothing about football. You don't put no team at number 1 or 2 because based off their offense. That's stupid. That's dumb. If that's the case, Alabama should still be in the top 4 because they're still one of the high-power offense in the nation. No matter if they lost 2 games. So, because a team is top 10 in defense and offense, that gives them the right to be in that spot number 2. It needs to go to 12 teams next year. I don't care. It needs to go next year because it doesn't make sense on how it could potentially be 3 SEC schools in the top 4 because you're trying to make a case for all of them. You're trying to make a case. You're trying to make a case. We already know they are. You try to make a case for Tennessee. LSU is number 7. They beat LSU, destroyed them. Alabama, I told people this. I said, watch Alabama still be in the top 10 after this. People was like, no, they're finna fall back. They're number 9. Why is Clemson still number 10 after getting beat by a Notre Dame squad who was unranked? And they're trying to help it. Because now that will be Clemson's best loss. You see where I'm going with this? Come on now. Best losses, best wins. There's no such thing as a best loss. That's why I like the BCS Bowl. The BCS Bowl, if you lose to an unranked team, you're going down to 17. I don't care if you was number 4. You're going down to 17. They would hurt you dramatically. If you are number 1 in the nation and you lose to the number 24th team by 3 touchdowns, you're going down to 24. That's how it was. I guarantee you, the lights didn't went off on me because I'm tired of it. But I guarantee you, if that was Michigan losing to an unranked Notre Dame squad at number 4, we would be at 17 right now. And you can't say I'm lying. Anyway, that was my rant. It needs to go to 12-team format sooner or later. No later, sooner. Because they're trying to make a case for all SEC schools to be in the top 4. And I'm tired of it. If you want more videos like this, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.